my mother. A very good evening to all of you. I thank the Almighty for the opportunity given for me here today to stand before you to inaugurate the Fatayat Leadership Training Program. I say actually this talk is about empowering tomorrow's family leaders. You are the family leaders. You are going to be mother of many children. And you're going to make special effort to make sure that your children grow up to be good. So once again, thank you for the invitation. So I'm going to structure my talk in such a way that I'm going to use me as an example, how my mother brought me up. What are the things she did to me that have made me become what I am? I think if you want to know my qualification, it's very long. I have a bachelor's degree in engineering from my own country. I have 2 master's degrees. To do one itself is difficult. I have 2. One in civil engineering, the other one is economic and management. And I have a PhD in civil engineering. And also, the German University of Stuttgart, honored me with a Doctor of Engineering. So I got 2 PhDs. How did I achieve all this? Would you believe that I had no home when I was born? I was a street kid. I had no food to eat. We have large families. I have 9 brothers and sisters. I'm the eldest in the family. My father was never around he came and left. But how did my mother brought me up until this level? We had no food to eat. Sometimes we had only 1 meal per day. And my mother used to feed us rice 1 bowl so that all of us get equal share. That was the way I was brought up. What role a mother played? I would say that I became what I am is because of my mother. You see, if a mother without any education can make me become what I am now, I think you are very lucky that you are given this opportunity to become better mothers. This is one thing I really like about your foundation, your institute. Empowering the mothers today to deliver the future leaders of the country. That's what you're going to do. My mother did it for me. Presently, I am the president, vice chancellor of the biggest institute in Malaysia with 250,000 students. I think this institute has only 250. My institute is 250,000, 1,000 times bigger. I got almost 10,000 professors and lecturers. The budget for my university is $3 billion USD per year. $3 billion US dollar per year. That's how large an institute. But I must tell you, my life history was, as I said, I grew up in a very poor family. When I used to go to school, my mother will always insist, never miss classes. Every day must go to school. Doesn't matter, no money or anything, no shirt or anything, still go to school. My mother insisted that. I had no clothes sometimes. I have no shoes sometimes. I still go to school. But in school, my mother put me in an English school. She was not educated, but she insisted that I go to English school. So I went to English school. The kids were all rich people. A lot of people had money. They had money to buy this, buy that. But if anything get lost in the school, I'm the one who is called and punished because I am poor. My clothes are dirty. Nobody wanted to teach me. I always been asked to sit at the back of the class, never in front of the class. The teacher will always take care of the rich kids. Poor kids like me, sit at the back. Sometimes I go on the bus, nobody would like to sit beside me because they think I'm dirty, because my clothes were dirty. It was so bad. No food sometimes. I would watch all the kids who eat. I would stand there. So the best thing I can drink was Pepsi Cola. You know the pipe? The water, the kind is called Pepsi Cola. Pipe.
Not Pepsi Cola.
Not Pepsi Cola, Pepsi Cola. See, that was that bad. But my mother kept on insisting. My mother, to find money, there were bottles. At that time, there were bottles made of glass. She will go and pick along the streets and then sell the bottles. That's how we survived. My mother used to make cakes. I used to take the cakes and put in shops and collect money. You see, when I collect money, my mother insists that it must be right. That's how I learned mathematics. When I was young, I used to sweep barber shop. When there's nothing to sweep, I will sit down. The barber shop has Reader's Digest. You know Reader's Digest? That's how I learned English. See, this poor kid got nowhere to go. So my mother insisted I go to school all the time. How hard it was, she will make sure. There were 9 in the family. She couldn't afford everybody. I have 5 sisters. All the 5 were stopped schooling. My mother couldn't afford it. All my sisters all were stopped schooling. My brothers were allowed, so that in the sense that my mother was thinking later on, they will help the family. But there's a lot of things my mother did. Like for example, every night my mother will tell a story. You know what story she tells? She tells me the story of our warrior, Sayyidina Khalid al-Walid. You know Khalid al-Walid? What do they call him? Allah's sword. Isn't it? Khalid al-Walid has so many wounds on his body at the back, you cannot see the difference from one point to another point. So my mother used to tell me every night before I go to sleep, stories of Islamic warriors. You know what made me become very strong. I became very strong, very energetic. I believed in what my mother said. My mother gave me the courage. I was never afraid of anybody. My mother said, you have to be afraid of only Allah, nobody else. Every day, if you tell a story to a child on Islamic warriors, what do you expect the child to grow up with? Fighter. That's what I became, a fighter. My mother, sometimes we sit and we see a cockroach going by, you will jump, isn't it? All of you will jump. That is the biggest mistake you make. You know what my mother will tell? You go and pick it up right now. That's how I became not afraid of any cockroach. Even rat, my mother said, you pick it up. Go and find it. Pick it up. I go and pick it up. So I'm not afraid. None of us are afraid of cockroaches and all that. Because it's all psychological. See, as a mother, you can tune your child. You can easily tune your child to become strong. There was one time, you see, being poor, you get bullied. You get bullied in schools. And I used to be bullied because I couldn't fight back. One day, I came home with a bloody face, with my nose bleeding. My mother asked me, who did it? I said, that boy there did it. You know what my mother said? You go and finish him. Don't come back if you don't finish him. You see, that's the role of a mother. I became very panicked. I said, you come back without finishing him, I will wallop you. She showed me the stick. Look here, I'll whack you if you don't come back finishing him up. So I couldn't do anything. So what happened was, Allah is so great. When I was going around aimlessly, don't know what to do, I came to a place where they were practicing boxing. Allah showed me the way. You see? What happened was, I went there and asked, what are you all doing? The master said, we are practicing kickboxing. You know Siamese kickboxing? So I said, please teach me. So I enrolled. After a few months, I went and whacked the boy. I learned kickboxing from the age of 8 until 25. I'm a kickboxer. I fight on the streets. I get money for fighting on the streets. I can take the money and give my mother. That's how I survived. In school, those who used to beat me are afraid of me after that. But how did I become like that? My mother. My mother made sure that she has no education now. She doesn't know how to read and write. And yet, you see, the role she played as a mother, very important role. And then, I remember I did my O-levels. Even though how hard it was, I did my O-level. I didn't get a good results because the teachers discriminated me. They asked me to sit at the back. The teachers were Chinese, many of them were Chinese. So they discriminated me. So I didn't do a very good as O-level. I just had enough results. But I used to be boxing. I enjoyed boxing. I used to go for tournaments. I win tournaments, I get money. Sometimes the tournaments are arranged. You fall on the second round, you get more money. Okay, I said, no problem, as long as you give me money. All boxing are all staged, it's not real. The real one is on the streets. The one I fight on the street. The one real bad. I used to fight on the streets. You know how many knife wounds are on my body? 9. I used to fight on the street because my uncles were all gangsters. I was trained to become a gangster. My uncles trained me to become a gangster. My mother trained me to become a scholar. There was conflict between the two groups. But I was more inclined to be a gangster. I used to beat up people also. My mother always said, don't do that. Don't beat people up. But I used to beat up. Because when the fight comes, you have to fight. 9 wounds on my body. I almost died because somebody knifed me. That was the kind of life I was going through. You see? You can imagine what would happen to me if I would continue in the field of gangsterism. I would be the biggest gangster. Even one day, I even thought of robbing a bank because no enough money. I planned to rob a bank, really. But I was so stupid at the time, I think. I want to rob a bank. But the bank was guarded by a few Punjabis. So I said, no, I'm not going to do that. You see, they're big guys, you see.
Yeah,
Punjabis. So this was so difficult in life. So as I said, after I finished my O-level, one day, I was in a boxing match. Somebody came. You see, Allah plays a role. Allah intervenes. This is what we call divine intervention. This gentleman came and asked me, what are you doing? Do you want to study? I said, no, give me a job. What kind of jobs you can do? I like to be a bodyguard. Of course, with the fighting skills, I can easily become bodyguard. But he said, no, tomorrow you come to my office. So he asked me to come to his office. I went there. He asked me to fill up a form. I didn't know what form it was. I said, I don't know how to fill up. You come here. He filled it up. You know what was this form? This form was a form of application to enter the university I am now. At that time, it was called Institute Technology Mara. It was not called a university yet. He helped me to fill up. So I filled up the form. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was a job. After 2 months, I got a reply. I got admitted into a special program for underprivileged students. I entered the program. But the program was in KL. My hometown was about 200 kilometers away, or 300 kilometers away. I told my mother was very happy. I can imagine my mother went and borrowed money everywhere just to send me to this place. I had to go, I didn't even have a bag. Somebody gave me a bag. I didn't have a shoe. My friends gave me a shoe. I have no socks. My friends bought me a socks. That's how I went to college. I can remember my mother bought me blood cream for my hair, and then she even bought me, Hazeline Snow. At that time, there's a kind of like Fair and Lovely. She said, you wear that, you'll become fairer. Because I was very dark at that time. It's true, you say Fair and Lovely made me whiter. I was dark, very dark at that time because of the sun, you see, and I was in the island. Island, always on the sea. You're on the sea, you become dark, you see. And no girls wanted to be beside me. So I went to the university. I got a shock of my life. Everybody there was beautiful. They were rich, beautiful, they have cars. And here goes with this guy with, even the shirt cannot be ironed. No, even the slua or the pants was so dirty. First week, I couldn't eat in the college because they were giving food, free food, everything. I couldn't eat because I remembered my brothers and sisters at home had no food to eat. 1 week I couldn't eat, I was crying. But what happened was, I couldn't study. I went to work. I went to work on the construction. At the time, the institute was building new buildings. So I worked as a laborer, studying and then worked so that I can send money home. Do you know that after 6 months, I failed, I was kicked out. I was thrown out of the university. The dean called me and said, you get out. That was his word. Don't talk too much, you get out. Because I couldn't concentrate on my work, study. I was putting too much effort on my work as a contract worker, bending cement, pouring concrete. That was the job. But what happened was, one day I went to see the head and I said, please give me a chance. He said, get out. But I had one lecturer with me who was a very nice lady. Her name was Miss Tan. She told me, Sahol, don't worry, you go home. You'll see what we can do. So on my train trip from Kuala Lumpur to go back to my hometown in Penang, I was sitting on the train, I was crying. Again, Allah played a very important role. Divine intervention again. Somebody came and sat beside me. He looked like a religious man. He said, why are you crying? I said, I failed. I've been thrown out. I cannot go home. Where are you going? I want to run away from home. I wanted to run away. Really, I wanted to run away. Where can I run away? At that time, the only thoughts was, I want to go to Bollywood, become Bollywood star. I could have been one. I wanted to go to Bollywood at that time. But my mind was just crazy, going everywhere. So the gentleman, the old man asked me, you want to study? Yes, okay. Yeah, I want to study. Please help me. I said, you know what? He asked 4 questions. He asked me, you believe in Allah or not? I said, yes, I believe in Allah. Second question, answer me truthfully. Do you pray or not? I told him truthfully, sometimes do. I won't pray. That is wrong. That is the biggest mistake. You cannot leave prayers. You must pray 5 times a day. Third question, do you love your mother? See, he asked the question, do you love your mother? I say, I love my mother. Rahmat for you, he said. Fourth question, do you like to help poor people? I am poor, sir, please help me. He said again, do you like to help poor people? Yes, I will if I get the opportunity. During the journey, he gave me a lot of things. I don't know where he came from, why he came, I don't know. But he gave me a lot of things that I have acquired. I've used it. Is it? But he always told me, love your mother. I went back home. After 2 weeks, my teacher, Miss Tan, came to see my mother and told the story to my mother that I've been thrown out. Oh, my mother looked at me as if she wants to eat me up. But she said, don't worry, I've been given another chance. So I came back, another chance, but Miss Tan said that she will give money to my mother every month. I study. So she gave money every month to my mother, showed that I study. And I got a scholarship. From that day onwards, I became top student all the way. You see, Allah's intervention. I received a scholarship to go to study in US. I went to US, I got 2 master's degree at the same time. I came back, I got a scholarship some more, went to do PhD. I went to do PhD in UK, I came back. And then after that, I became a professor in Germany. You see the role that my mother has played? That's why I think empowering that to you all is very, very critical. What role you're going to play in bringing up your children is very, very important. Now, as I said, you see, even my mother taught me, even as I told you, my mother doesn't read and write, doesn't know how to read and write. But I don't know how. She even taught me how to choose a wife. Yes. When I was growing up, I became very prominent in my studies and all that. I became fairer. Yes, all the girls started, thanks to Hazeline Snow. No, the only thing I did was I didn't play in the sun. So I became fairer, and all the girls started noticing me. There was a time where the girls didn't even want to sit on the same table as mine. Now, with being the top student, receiving awards, all the girls will fight to sit on my table. Oh, that at the libraries. So, at that time, I had 5 choices. Which one to choose? I mean, I became friend with all the 5. I took them to watch. At that time, famous was this movie Bobby. Bobby, I think you have seen Bobby in it. I took all the 5 girls 5 different times. At that time, it's Jahiliyyah time, okay. 5 different times, 5 different times. Each time pretended as if I have not seen the movie. Is it? But which one to choose? I always say, go home, I tell my mother. You know, my mother taught me, think, she said. Mother said, think. What do you mean, ma? Ma means mother, ma. What do you mean by think? She told me that if you were to, you got 5 choices. If you were to marry this one, what will happen if you marry her? Have you thought about it? Oh, you see, she got an engineering mind. This is what engineering, in engineering, we call it simulation now. You got 5 different alternatives, how you simulate. Is it like, that's my study. I study rivers. My job is to, based on the rainfall, tell how far this river will rise before it happens. That simulation, computer simulation. So my mother was talking about that to me. I don't know where she got it. So first one was a girl who was very rich. Her father is a very rich man. Whenever I meet the father, I always shake because he's so powerful man. So my mother said, think, what will happen if you marry her? You see? So I thought, oh my God, if I were to marry her, I put a video in front of me. If I were to marry her, she will pinch me, ask me to sit down all the time. Isn't it? And then, of course, her father will say, shut up, sit down, with a pipe some more. Is that kind of wife I want? Oh no. First one out. Second one was my own cousin. Very pretty girl. But her father had diabetic. My father also had diabetic. So if I marry her, my children will all will have diabetic. Am I right? Oh, my mother told me, what will happen to the family? You will not break the chain of genetics. But she didn't tell in terms of that way. I know what she meant. So I said, no, I don't want my children to have genetic failure because of the same group. That is out. Third one, think. This girl was a very sexy girl. She walks with a very sexy style. She dresses horribly. If I walk with her, everybody look at her. She becomes a trophy wife now. Do I want that kind of wife? I wouldn't want that kind of wife. Everybody will be looking at her. What will happen? You can imagine what will happen. Third one, that one is the third one. Fourth one is a girl who's always sick. You know, she carries this kind of medicine, put tiger balm, put on her nose. No, everywhere. I think if I marry her, I have to have a tiger balm factory. And the worst part was that whenever I take her out, she likes to faint. I don't know, purposely she faints so that I carry her. I don't know why. So I say if I were to marry her, she's going to be sick. Her mother also got divorced because of the same problem. So I say I'm not going to marry that one. Fourth one out. The fifth one doesn't want to study. Every time fail exam, she's happy. Yay. I say if that kind of a woman were to marry, she will never give education to my children. So all the five I push aside. I had another 5 choices. But finally I chose my wife. Was very simple, very intelligent, and the best thing about her, she never misses Subuh prayer. If she never misses Subuh prayer, that means she will never miss any other prayers. That is the. If you want, this is how for a man to choose a wife, because you're all married, is it? For a woman to choose a right husband, make sure that he never miss Subuh prayers. Second criteria, he must love his mother. You got these 2 criteria in a man, that is the right choice. If he doesn't love his mother, he doesn't like his mother, you better be careful. He hates women. If he doesn't pray, you better be careful. So these are some of the things that my mother taught me. See how important a mother played to become what I am now. If let's say she doesn't play this role, I don't think so I would have come this far. And of course, mothers, they pray to Allah for the children. The dua they make is the rahmat I get. That's why they say that Surga is, we call it Surga di tapak kaki ibu. In English is, paradise is at the foot of your mother. Do you know that? So how important you all are? Do you realize that how important? Do you know why you are all empowering them? Do they realize how important they are for the future of the Ummah? You are all very important for the future of Ummah. So going back, so I came back with all the degrees. One of the first things I did was to start a project called Changing the Destiny. Now I take students from the streets like myself, bring them into the university. Our university only picks the best. To enter our university is competition like mad. You have to have so many distinctions to enter. But I still open up another compartment for those who are unable, who are poor, who are on the streets. I bring them. Last 2 years I brought 12,000 of them. 10,000 already made it. That is where changing of destiny. And as far as, Alhamdulillah, as a leader of my own family, I have never failed to stress the importance of education of my children. By the way, I have 3 girls, Noor Ashikin, Yasmin, and Nazreen. 3 girls. My second girl, Yasmin, is finishing her PhD in space structures. She's in UK now. She's almost complete, coming back. My other daughter, inshallah, she will go to UK to do PhD also. And my third daughter is going to London School of Economics. All of them, alhamdulillah, are very highly educated. And as I said, the role is played by the mother. So, to my dear students, I hope you will capitalize on the present opportunity that's been given to you to study hard in your respective areas of specialization. Your parents, your siblings, your community and the country need you to help uplift the standard of living and move forward quickly to become a developed nation. I think what's important is that you're going to play a very important role to develop the future ummah. Very, very important role. So it's my hope that this training program achieves the objective to inculcate leadership attributes among our students who are the family leaders of tomorrow. I wish you all the best. I wish you all the best of luck, and may Allah always be with you. Thank you very much.